After
But I
that,
think the biggest talking point for me right out was Martin Neil's tracksuit.
Would it be a bigger shock, Hearts winning the league, than what it was when Leicester won the league?
Defenders, 1 touch. Midfielders, 2 touch. Pass it. Strikers, do whatever the fuck you like.
Kyrgios, Braga, Shankland are the best front three in the league.
I would go all out and get Jurgen Klopp in the door.
Oh my days.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it? Looking forward to this one. Peace and quiet for at least a week, yeah?
I don't know who you're going to argue with this week.
Myself.
Get an able deputy in. Get
Yeah.
the Val Sports on.
Have I got a last minute sub shout? Aye.
Substitute.
That's the first I've heard of that. I'm devastated. It sucked every bit of confidence out of me. I didn't know it was a last minute sub.
You should just have read the running order. It's still get Kris at the top of it.
So,
Anyway, let's crack on with it.
Well, get well soon, Kris. Hopefully you're back soon enough.
Oh, could I say that with a straight face? Get well, big man. Get well. I'll hopefully see you in maybe about 3 or 4 weeks.
What's up with him? It's a sick end up and rang with him. He's phoned
Yeah, I
in.
think he's got a little bit of the man flu.
Obviously, a big result yesterday.
It was either that or he
Heavy
couldn't be
night.
bothered flying up here. I'm not sure.
Last
Not sure,
minute
but
sickie.
we're not going to miss him. Anyway, let's crack on.
Yep.
Semi-final yesterday. What's your thoughts?
Oh, what a game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many talking points. Such a good game to watch compared to the last one. The last one couldn't really go any worse, could it?
No.
But Rangers with 10 men, I thought, wow, couldn't believe it. How much they stayed in the game, how much they pressed Celtic high. But Celtic just then got a bit of control back in the game and I won it comfortably then. But Rangers' chances,
Yeah,
they
big
must
ones.
look back at their chances and think,
If you think in the game, Rangers had as good a chances as Celtic. I think Celtic started best. But the red card galvanised Rangers, and I think they played the game from that moment to the end really well. Like their set plays, not allowing Celtic to dominate like they have done. There was loads of positives, but I do think Celtic were the better team. at the start.
Yeah, I think when you get those chances, I mean, they're asking one for me. I know Chermiti, it was a lovely ball. I think it was Diamondi down the left-hand
Aye,
side when
the
they fired
left
it
foot.
across. The first one, the second one from the ball and from Tavernier's free kick. He should probably be doing a lot better, but I thought the golden opportunity for me was Raskin's. He's cleaned through. There was no... Like, he got into an area and it was just like, right, I'm just going to hit this as hard as I possibly can. I don't even think he looked to see where he could place it there. You've got to have a little bit of composure when you're through there.
That's the one bit about Raskin, though, that probably elevates him to the next level. That composure, whether it be a through ball, whether it be a chance, he misses it. But as you said, loads of talking points.
brilliant. I mean, Chermiti's won it back post for me for Tavernier's great ball in. Just no conviction. Like when somebody's got that 8 million price tag, there's obviously pressure on him. You think that's his chance to go and get a goal in a semi-final, and think, you know, goals change games, and maybe he becomes that striker. People go, they start to look at him going, maybe he can be that guy. But the longer he goes,
Change games, but they change careers as well.
He
Look
got
at
the
Johnny
goal
Kenny.
last week, and you think, right, can he kick on? Can he kick on? But as you say, there's no big moments. £8 million.
No, I know. I mean, as I said, listen, I've had plenty to say on Chermiti in terms of, I mean, he didn't pay the fee. You know, I think there'll be people, or there is people with question marks at the club in terms of the transfer fee it's been paid, because it is a hell of a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. And I think if you're that price tag, you've got to be the finished article. I don't think Rangers are in any position to, as a project player, listen, you look at, you could maybe cut him some slack if he'd already, you know, if when he's moved to Everton, he's maybe just not had that opportunity. But when you look at Everton's striking options right now as well, they're not setting the hell on fire either. And then for him to move on for another hefty transfer fee, it's got to be better than this. It's got to be.
I definitely think so. I think, but you say it's not the transfer fee, right? But ultimately, anybody in Scotland getting signed for 8 million, Engels has said the same.
Yeah, you know, I'm saying he didn't pay the transfer fee, but
naturally, if he's going to say, right, he's got to be a
100%.
match winner. He's got to be a match winner. But you would argue Rangers forwards is an issue in general.
100%.
I actually thought Miofsky would have done better than he has done.
Agreed.
But there's also elements of his games, they wee intelligent runs. Rangers aren't playing them at the right time and that. But they've not got somebody who's going, I'm the main man. And that you've just highlighted there. Kenny at Celtic sees the opportunity. And then since he's come in the team, has clearly shown that he's up for the challenge.
What does Chermiti bring? What would you say he brings? Have you seen anything in him at all?
I thought Charlie, to be honest, seen Wednesday night at Easter Road, especially the first half, I thought he put himself about. You know, he got Rangers up the pitch maybe his touch bounced off him a few times in that, but he did get fouls. He did get Rangers up the pitch. He went and closed, the Hibs back four, back three, back five down. But again, because of the price tag, it's got to be more. You've got to be looking for more. And I know, listen, he gets away and he ends up rolling the ball to Danilo, who gets a goal on Wednesday night. But it's got to be more.
So when I look at him, I think, right, for £8 million, let's see something like raw pace. Let's see a powerhouse, maybe like he holds it and he flicks it on, so he's got something. Let's see a finisher deadly in the box. Let's see somebody that makes great runs or comes short and's got technical ability.
Well, see the Danilo goal against Hibs. That's what you expect for an £8 to £10 million striker. That nice, elegant touch, nice finish, graceful finish.
I mean, listen, because Portugal's produced so many good players as well, you always expect them to have that lovely touch, cushion. The link-up play is usually good, but it's not happening for him. And I know, listen, I was a striker that relied on my teammates creating opportunities for me. He might point to the same thing. He might look at it and say that, I'm not really getting much created for me. But the two chances yesterday were golden opportunities.
They're good chances,
and as I said, that can be the difference. We'll probably go into more depth, the game in a few minutes. But as you say, Johnny Kenny gets his opportunity, goal during the week. He then gets, a lovely header across the front post yesterday. Good timing, great heading. His movement's really good, really good. I quite like him, to be fair.
I'm a big fan. Since he scored at Aberdeen last season, instinctive movement is a natural finisher. He's then a work rate. He comes on in the European game after 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Has 2 individual chances, brilliant, but his work ethic, he helps win the ball back off deep midfielders. Then he's part of the attack. I really like him.
I must admit, I didn't see any of that. You're obviously seeing it from a striker point of view. I've only seen it since Martin O'Neill's now stepped in, and you're all of a sudden feeling, I see a different player. I know it's easy to say because he scored 2 goals, but I just see somebody that's looking a lot more confident. I never seen that before. I just thought, I don't think this guy's going to score. I don't think he's the answer. And now I'm looking, I'm going.
Is that down the way Celtic were playing though? Because there was a lot of passes for the sake of it.
I know. So now you're seeing forward balls in the box. Strikers are having a lot more touches, and maybe that's why
his loan helps him. Going out on loan, playing even in Europe, scoring loads of goals, definitely helps him to then come back. And
then another youngster as well, Callum Osmand, come on. Where's he been?
I know.
He looked sharp, by the way.
Yeah,
looked really sharp.
He did.
But why is he not like, we'll touch on the statement like from Dermot Desmond as well, but you then look at it, like, why was he frozen out under Brendan Rodgers?
I'll touch on this as from a coaching point of view, right? I think when you're around this squad so much, nearly every day with Europe and that, sometimes you can be too close to it, and you maybe don't see the same things in training, don't get many opportunities to show the manager, which then maybe you get overlooked for selection. And that's clearly what's happened here. The new management teams went in, and in the first few days, he's clearly shown, by the way, he's got a wee bit, he can do a bit for us.
Yeah.
And it's a clean slate, and then he gets his opportunity.
See when Brendan Rodgers was coming out and talking about transfers constantly, and that was the sort of agenda everybody was on about, no good enough striker and these people in the final third. Everybody kind of overlooked about how the players in the building must have felt. So how much Osmand must have looked at that and thought, well, I must be crap then. Because nobody's actually saying, no, I'm not getting a chance. And nobody's
he'll probably feel he's not going to get a chance.
I'm not going to get a chance. And his confidence must have been drained. I don't know how Rodgers managed them. But all of a sudden, somebody new comes in, Martin O'Neill, gets his arm around him. He spoke yesterday's interview, the manager spoke to him a couple of times, just go and play your game. I actually said to Martin O'Neill yesterday during the interview, I said, what have you done to bring confidence back here? And he sort of took no credit whatsoever, passed on to the players, and you're thinking, he's been very humble there, but there's no doubt about it. Like he's openly went in and said there's serial winners in here.
That's his game though. I think from everybody you've heard that's ever been around him at Celtic, it wasn't tactics on the training pitch. It was him turning up late in the week. That words of wisdom, you can clearly see that.
I spoke to management and asked him like what he'd done, because I remember being a young lad and he was never about the place a lot. You would see him in the place where you could hear a pin drop. He had so much respect, and you'd walk by in the corridor and you'd be like, oh no, so much respect for the man. But I asked him like, how did you like do that by not being on the training pitch all the time? He says he used to save his energy for match days, so he would just not really speak to the players a lot during the week and then just bring it all on a match day, which I thought was was fascinating.
That was interesting, to be fair, because I watched a podcast from, in fact, it was last week, and it was the Celtic boys were saying the exact same with you. Never seen.
That's scandalous.
Yeah, you kept a straight face there quite well there.
I was
like,
waiting
where's
for a
that
right
score?
good point there. That's what I said yesterday on air. I was halfway through telling that story, and then I was like, it was just before I went to management, so I was thinking, I seen Neil Lennon stand there, and I went, his mind will be ticked away. He wants to gain me. So I came for myself first. So I said, that's why I'm stood here and I'm not a manager. But I never listened to one word of that.
But even now, Osmand, because he can't play on Thursday, can he? He's not in the European squad, so that's a blow for him. So he's going to have to pick himself up. Is Kilmarnock at home for Celtic next week, I think?
Yeah.
He'll have to pick himself up and go again, but I wouldn't rule him out going to start now. It was interesting because when you speak about confidence in a young player, everybody thought, I think, going into that game yesterday, that Jamesy Forrest would have potentially started on the right. Maeda, if he was fit, would have been back through the middle, and Johnny Kenny would have been the one to miss out. So for Martin to show that belief and confidence in such a young player, he done well during the week, but sometimes you see managers doing crazy things in Old Firm weeks. I mean, it happened with Walter a few times. He used to drop me for them. But I think that even being named in that starting 11 would have been a big boost from yesterday.
Massive.
I think he had to name him because before the game was all the chat about whether Maeda would come in up top instead of Kenny, and I thought, you will kill the boy. I just think if you come in and score 2 goals and you're feeling confident and you get dropped,
it also though changes the dynamic about the way you look at the Celtic squad now. Do you know what I mean? It was all about the forwards. We're not scoring goals. We've not got a big threat. Now you're talking about 2 young players that have come in, seen the opportunity and goes, I'm having this.
You mentioned something there about you being a young boy, and like those 2 are in the same situation or scenarios. But you were when Martin was there at first. Anything when you were there to start with, when he was there the first time?
Martin just deals with the first team, so he never really had much interaction with us. And even with the first team, he never really interacted a lot with them. He, like I said earlier, he saved his energy for when he walked in a room, you could hear a pin drop, and he saved that a lot for match days. A couple of interactions I did have with him though was we would play a game maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday reserve game, so we'd be on a Sunday, and what we'd do, he would put back then it was a reserve league where first team boys that weren't playing, so they'd been the Sunday as well. They must have been raging looking back now. So he would appear some Sundays, and he would just randomly just start putting polls out. Like, and we'd be doing the wee mini games, the day before a game or 2 days before the game or whatever. And he would just say, right, start at that pole, and like put a pole the other side of the pitch, and you go right round that pole and back, and it would like Miles, don't be last, he would shout.
Everybody's
my God, everybody's just sprinting, and you get the lads that have maybe sneaked out on a Saturday night thinking it's only reserves, will maybe just take my time through this. Martin O'Neill appears. I remember Paul Lawson, spewing, like actually spewing. He'd been out the night before. He was like behind the big floodlights at Barrafield, just spewing behind it. You're like, oh my God. But he just had that aura when he stepped up, just stuck 2 poles in, made you run. You were like, wow. And I just remember coming through, and I was always like, wanted to play for the back. Always, because I started my career further forward up the pitch, so always was like, that was one of my main strengths. But he was always just defenders kick it and head it. So actually, players jumped above me to go ahead of me in the kind of pecking order that were younger than me, because they were more like basic defenders. But I remember any time I did play with reserves and I did keep it simple, kick it and head it, or defend first and foremost, John Robertson would come to me and say, like, well done, and you knew exactly, even though you never had much interaction with him, what he wanted. Defenders, kick it and head it, keep it simple.
You must have been too good looking to do that. You'll not get that face wasted.
Midfielders, like, so a statement was once said to one of us through one of the coaches at half time or something. It was like, summed Martin O'Neill up sort of the way he saw the game simplified. Defenders, 1 touch. Midfielders, 2 touch. Basically, defenders clear it. Midfielders, 2 touch, pass it. And strikers do whatever the fuck you like. Basically, just to simplify the game. So he was brilliant. I remember even back then, you were so convinced in the Martin O'Neill way. I know it was my first year full time, and it was the only full time football I knew. but you were so convinced in how he done things that I remember seeing Soccer AM and seeing a manager joining in the crossbar challenge and thinking he'll be sacked in a week because Martin O'Neill was so distant to players. I'm thinking, you can't be fucking about joining no crossbar challenges. But I was so convinced that was the only way, and I think that was the beauty of Martin O'Neill and what he'd done to the full club. Even speaking to staff yesterday they were so happy that he was back. He's such a people person and has everybody believing in his way.
Right, let's get into the action. First controversial decision.
What one was that?
Red card. We start with a red card.
Aasgaard.
Aye.
Red card for me.
Red card for me. I don't think he's meant it. I think he's eyes in the ball. Doesn't take away the fact it's high and it's dangerous to a protected area.
That's it for me. I think he's got no idea. He's done well with a flick over, and he's a quite rangy player, isn't he? He's got the leg, but then you see Tony's leg and
I think even if he gets a touch on it beforehand as well, it's irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, where he catches
him. It's a red card, and does he endanger the safety opponent? Yeah, he does. There's no doubt about it. It's a red card. I mean, I know that people say, because he had a touch in the ball before he made contact, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
I think Ralston's clever as well.
He did. He goes down. Did you see Maeda?
Waving at the bench.
My head is right over, giving it into his face.
To be fair, I don't think that made a difference because Nick Walsh had the red card out before he was in the deck.
He was sharp.
He was sharp.
But I would say to that point, Celtic were the better team. Started the quickest, put Rangers under pressure. And in a way, I think Rangers' performance got better after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you speak about the performance, I thought Rangers didn't really start the game at all.
No.
I know, and the way that they've been playing with the 3 and the 4 in front of them, with Tavernier and Magoma, trying to get the attack, but also covering the back 3. Celtic exploited that early doors. I thought they got in behind with Tanecki and Maeda's pace a few times. Johnny Kenny, I thought, led the line really well, but with the 3 defenders against 3 centre-backs, it was as if sometimes, do we go into the middle of the pitch? And it was so disjointed for large periods of the first half, Rangers, I thought. But I know the second half Rangers were more compact and were able to get up the pitch and everything, but there is no doubt for me, does the red card change the game? For Rangers' point of view, yeah, because I think it got them back together. And as you said, galvanised them, and they had to fight, because if they didn't, I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been anything. What was the next incident? Was that many?
So I was going to say the Rangers press, which you can see Tavernier on the back 5, to get trapped in the back 5 was going to be a problem for Rangers, but to press, Tavernier was jumping up to fullback Sriracha.
Since the manager's come in, though, in the games he's played, the 3, he has done that at times. It kind of looks like a back 4 at times. It's a back 5.
I think you need to, don't you? You'll get stuck in your 5. So he jumps, and that's where Tanecki get in, like you mentioned there. But I think the biggest talking point for me, by doubt, was Martin O'Neill's tracksuit.
Or the Copa Mundial.
He was like a big onesie, wasn't it? See, when you saw him, you were like, that. There's something not right about that. It was mad, and he spoke about it after, saying that, which I know it was so funny, because I've obviously wore the trackie playing in some of the old games. We played Man United and that, so I've wore the trackie. You need like a double XL, they're tight. So he said,
not that I would wear it, but imagine what I would need then.
Custom made.
That's what he said. He said he felt like Robin Hood, so that's why he wore that trackie. But it was mental, wasn't it? It was like,
funny,
he looked like he was dressed up for fancy dress.
Well, get away with this time of year.
Aye.
Where was
Talk on to Trusty.
Red card for me all day long.
Isn't it not?
Trusty's a red card. I think Trusty's had an intrusive thought at the last second. I think the keeper's caught the ball, and it's one of them in the heat of the battle. You're thinking, should I stuck my leg in? And he stuck his leg in far too late. I don't. It's so stupid. I don't know.
The ball's not even near. The ball's in at Butland's chest at this point.
But I think
when
Butland's got the ball in his hand, Trusty's foot's on the ground. And then he just has this mad rush to the head, and I'm going to kick him. I mean, no chance of playing the ball.
No.
Deliberate, violent conduct for me. I cannot believe, and I know people will say about force.
Well, that's what I'm just about to
go
get
for
out
it. Read
here.
it out if you want.
Violent conduct. Violent conduct is when a player uses or attempts to use excessive force or brutality against an opponent when not challenging for the ball, which he's probably not challenging for the ball.
No, he's definitely not.
Or against a teammate, team official, spectator, or any other person regardless of whether he makes contact or not. In addition, a player who, when not challenging for the ball, deliberately strikes an opponent or any other person on the head or face with their hand or arm. So he's made contact with the face. This last line's the one for me that why it doesn't. He's not given a red card. Is he's guilty of violent conduct unless the force used was negligible.
Oh.
But I don't think I think the negligible's irrelevant. Like the ball's no anywhere to be seen. He's made contact with his face, and if you think back to
Dundee United,
Diamande getting sent off for a flailing.
And by the way, had 2 looks at that because we're over to the monitor as well.
Yeah.
Nick Walsh had 2 looks at that one and still decided it was a red card. So you're speaking about inconsistency within our officials, but that's the same one.
I just when it goes back to what's your initial instinct when you see it, and I think most folk is it should be a red card. I think.
I think in terms of the force and that, I get why people would, but the face area is totally different to everywhere else as well, and I think that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, punching somebody in the arm, it ain't going to do much, but if you're close to them in the face, it could do serious damage. So I think the face is totally different, and there's no doubt there is contact there. Listen, does he kick his head off? No. But does he make contact with him? Yes. Does he know exactly what he's doing? Yes.
So if we're saying there needs to be more force for it to be a sending off, then what you're saying there is he would basically need to really hurt him in order to be a sending off, which I don't agree with, because if the stud catches him in the eye, that
it could be serious. Serious
trouble.
Stuff. Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think Trusty knows his cell. It's been daft. It's
the delayed reaction.
He's properly tried to apologise. If that's the other way, Celtic are screaming for that as well.
100%.
I think MD looks back and that knows that's a sending off.
What's that? Over 70 games now in Scotland since Celtic the red card. Incredible.
You need to do this. You need to do the Sutton thing here. Come on, come back with something.
Wow, over 70 games now. Wow.
Is that a fact?
I don't usually churn out rubbish.
Very fair team, Celtic.
Yeah.
You're warming,
especially when they got away with
especially
when they got away with foul after foul after foul after foul.
Okay, let's go on to the next controversy. Penalty, Rangers.
Penalty? Yeah.
No, not for me.
I don't think it's a penalty either.
Why?
Because I think Tony Ralston does all he can for it not. He's trying to get his arm in. He's trying to stop everything he can. Again, going back to me looking at it initially, I'm going like, it's not a penalty. And that's why.
Well, I think the laws of the game, if you throw yourself at it, then, and that's exactly what he done.
He had to throw himself at it because there was a wee altercation with the Rangers player.
Yeah,
there's a wee bit of something that knocks him off balance, and he's had to jump, and he's tried to get his. I mean, you'd almost say the natural position was his arms to go down, because he's jumping. But he has to bring them up because he knows it's a danger. Brings them up, turns his back.
If he put his hands down?
If he put his hands down, you would say that's a natural position.
Would you give him a penalty?
Even then, you're going, well, where's he meant to put his hands? He's actually tried to get them out the way.
That's what my thought is. He's trying his hardest to get his hands out the way. It hits him on the back there. Yes, it then goes down to the, well, if he's no there, if it doesn't hit his arm, is it going in the net? That's where it's coming from, but I think it's harsh.
Oh, listen, I mean, I get the fact that it is harsh, but as soon as you throw yourself at something, I think if you go back to, there was one in the Premier League earlier in the season as well with, in fact, was it Everton? Was it Everton at Leeds? The opening day of the season, maybe? Tarkovsky?
I
think, there was no doubt his arms are in, but he moved it. He made that motion towards the ball. Yeah. I think as soon as you throw yourself at it, you run the risk. Yeah. And listen, I think you've got to give Nick Walsh credit for that one. He's seen it. He was able to go to the spot straight away. So for me, it's a penalty kick. But I then look at it, and I know people think it's a yellow card. Those rules changed a few years ago. But the persistent fouling from Maeda and Tony Ralston throughout the game, after they had been booked as well, was incredible. How the both of them were able to stay on the pitch for the period of time. But for me, I think Aasgaard red card, Trusty red card, and a penalty kick.
Well, there you go. It then floats into the, again, as we spoke about, I think Rangers' performance after that, it was like a team performance. It was right, we're all fighting together, we're all trying to get through this, and they do really well.
Where'd the Rangers go for here, though? Do you know what I mean? Because I think since the managers came in, you got the game in Norway where, I mean, it was I mean, we've seen some really bad. We've seen some really bad performances from Rangers in Europe this season, and that was up there with them.
Mm-hmm.
To then turn the group around to get 3 points, you'd expect Rangers to beat Kilmarnock at Ibrox, no getting away from that. But I thought the impressive one for me was Easter Road, because Hibs had been scoring goals. They hadn't lost at Easter Road in a while. Rangers hadn't had a clean sheet away from home. They've been drawing far too many games. Yes, they're unbeaten away from home in a long period of time as well. But I thought it was a more rigid look about Rangers against Hibs. Yesterday, I didn't think it started that well. No. Then when the group got together with 10 men, it looked as if it was more organised as such. Created a few chances, a few more yesterday than what they did against a few more on Sunday than what they did against Hibs. But I look at where Rangers are at right now. They're not. They might be better defensively, but they're not really creating much as well. And that's where does this leave them?
I think Danny Rowe's biggest attribute is his tactical knowledge and his tactical ability. That's what I've picked up so far, and speaking to players that have played under him. I just don't think he's enough time in the training pitch. I think they've had 4 games since he came in, so he's had to straight away. I know that he went straight for off the ball stuff and tried to go with that.
You can see that. You can see the focus has been defensively. We are more solid.
Yeah, it's quite clever because it's like it's the easiest thing to coach, really, isn't it? Like it's the simplest thing for players to sort of be in a shape and know where to be, when to press and when to set off. I just think over time he'll need time to then get his in possession stuff and his more. I mean, look how quickly he adjusted to having 10 men yesterday. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
Celtic could have controlled the game much better by almost going back to, I don't know if you call it, maybe Rodgers' style, and having a bit more passes round and back just to sort of
move Rangers about.
Because when they started doing that in extra time or just before full time, you could see Rangers, a lot of forward players in the pitch, you know what it's like to chase the ball as a forward player.
I definitely don't.
That's why you didn't play.
He'd be the sub at that point.
I was the good at that counter pressing.
So you could see them going, oh no, they've no got us. And they made a few passes and then they get tired. And so I think Danny Rowe maybe needs a bit more time, obviously on the training pitch and stuff, and you'll see much better from them.
The generals just get to the transfer window surely for Rangers. It's the easy thing to say, just win games. If he continues on the way he is and keeps winning games, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You get to the next window, you can then start making progress with your squad. I
think on the progress the Rangers will make regarding the next transfer window is getting players out, because half of them come in, and I know we'll touch on that later, but half of them are not good enough. And whether you're able to move them on, because they'll all be in big money, whether other teams will want to take them.
Who would you get rid of? Who would be the first couple? First
we did a podcast to go through it. I mean, I think when you go through the whole, I mean, I was expecting more from Jager.
By the way, what about him yesterday?
Honestly, I'd like, when you come from the Premier League, and I know sometimes, everybody thinks that, the Premier League's a way up here, and everybody that plays it's superstars, but I mean, listen,
the mentality side's totally different.
You've got to be looking for more from him.
The first touch of the ball, do you remember it? The ball bounced about in the halfway line. He just absolutely nailed it.
There, understand?
He's from the Premier League and that. The Premier League, quality-wise and player-wise, yes. But see that mentality of being at a club you must perform all the time. Yeah. That's the big thing that's missing. And that's what all these guys are coming in and finding out, this is a tough gig, this.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the biggest thing that's highlighted.
I think when you look at him, he's not been convincing in any game.
No.
You then look at, you go into the middle of the pitch, and I mean, Magoma on the left-hand side, I just think from what Rangers have had in recent years, Barisic, again, similar to Connor Golson, similar to James Tavernier, when they were there, everybody was moaning about them, but when they move on, you then realise they were actually all right. They were decent considering what's there now. I know he's a young boy, but again, it's not his fault, but you then got to look at the recruitment side of it, whether that is, that's your number one left back. I think it's a lot of pressure, as you say, they're coming in there, that must win every single week. I don't think Raskin's been anywhere near, I thought he was okay yesterday, but I don't think he's been anywhere near the levels that we've seen previous.
Did you sell him in January?
Well,
offer came.
I think you've got to consider it, yeah. I think you have. I think because...
See, in all honesty, that's been a problem at Rangers for years. No selling
at the right time. Yeah, I think you would have to. Because I don't think you can just keep a hold of players for the sake of keeping a hold of them. If he was firing on all cylinders, you say, right, build a team around him, but I've not seen it recently. But going back to the ones that come back in the summer, Rothwell been miles off it. Miofsky been miles off it. Aaron's been miles off it. Gassama we've seen in flashes. Mikey Moore we've seen in flashes.
Mikey Moore's done well last
couple of games.
Now,
he looked all right yesterday.
Aasgaard. I mean, Ant-Man. You know, you look. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And there's a lot of money in that Rangers team wasted. And listen, we'll hear, it's a project, and you know you've got to give these young boys time. You don't get time. You need to win games of football, and especially, I mean, that's the first trophy of the season gone now as well. The league's going to be very difficult to start with, so you're already under pressure again. Europe has been a safety net for Rangers over a period of time now. You're sitting bottom of the Europa League, so I mean that looks as if that's going to be an issue for them as well in the upcoming weeks. So, you know, you look at Rangers, there's been a lot of positivity since the manager came in, the last two performances, but you're then, even last night, you felt as if the board, Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart, were getting a lot of criticism before the new manager came in. There was signs last night that switched again, because, you know, you're looking at saying, what is these players bringing to the table? Kevin Thelwell has backed Chermiti. I mean, I've yet to see it. I've yet to see it. As I said, if you're signing somebody from £8 million and my praise and running around, come on.
I still think in general, though, the manager's had a positive impact.
But he has.
I do think that will continue.
Yeah.
From now to
Celtic, Martin O'Neill.
Where does that go? Does he get the cup final?
He said yesterday, I don't want it, but ask me tomorrow, because he was so he said we went from 73 to 90.
He might have changed his mind.
I don't know, man. He's got to have a good feeling in his stomach this morning, thinking. I
think the start that they've made potentially makes Celtic board go, right, we don't need to be in a frantic rush here. And don't get me wrong, Martin O'Neill's smart in having Shaw and Fotheringham and that there, who are probably more relevant to the squad now than he is. But I think you can tell that there is a calmness, there's an understanding. It
was interesting to see yesterday, just before extra time, Sean Maloney was
the one
right in amongst the talking.
Noticed that as well.
So
where do you think this leaves Brendan Rodgers, though? Like, and I know, listen, I've said it before, I think in terms of Brendan Rodgers, he is, for me, an elite manager for a period of time. But you would have said 73-year-old Martin O'Neill was outdated, his time was by, and you know, we'd never have seen him back managing again. But he's came back in and managed to get a bounce out of this group that were very, very flat. Where does it doesn't really look good for Rodgers either right now?
No, it doesn't. I think Rodgers' statement and stuff he said shows, and going by Dermot Desmond's statement, is Rodgers was starting to think about leaving, no doubt about it, for the end of the window, or from definitely the first game of the season. So if that's the case, then the players feel that. You're speaking about transfers not being good enough. You're speaking about contract situations.
That was the one for me, the contract situation. For an elite manager to begin at his last year, and it never really been talked about over like that. For me, that's a big deal that you've got an elite manager coming to last year's contract.
Yeah.
Is he getting a new deal? Is he not? Whether that's the board, whether that's him, but
it was offered a new deal.
Yeah, but it's all unclear though. It was all really just murky and unclear.
Well, I think when you look at Celtic the last few months, and I know they've been winning games, but you'd expect them to win games with the quality they've got. I don't think it's been at the level that Celtic have shown in recent years. Where does it leave Brendan Rodgers? I mean, Saudi's been something that's been, you know, his name's been linked to. Whether he wants to do that, whether he wants to get back down the road, I'm not sure. But as I said, for me, when you know all we hear and we live in this world now, where if you're over a certain age and you don't use the buzzwords as such, then you're seen as a dinosaur. And there is no doubt that Martin O'Neill fell into that category. You know, you listen to people ridicule him because he doesn't believe in XG and he doesn't believe in all these stats and everything. But you then look at what he's done in the last two games, been able to galvanise a group, get them out there. So the motivation side of it, the man management side of it, Martin O'Neill is obviously elite at that, and that's followed him. That doesn't change. That's you as a person.
But that's probably one of the biggest attributes as a manager to have that gets you success.
But and that's where I'm coming from. So you're now looking at saying, you know, Brendan Rodgers continuously asks for better players. So as you say, Charlie, the group's then thinking, well, that's I'm giving me a chance. 2 weeks ago, he was comparing them to, you know, Honda Civics, which doesn't look great. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I don't know if you speak to him a lot. There's got to be some players in that Celtic bus after that Dundee game absolutely fuming after the level of consistency and what they've done.
Isn't an impulse speaker.
Charlie spoke to us. He spoke to us after the game. Never mentioned it. Never mentioned anything to do with any car scenario. Then left and went and done the radio and done the written press. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He's a calculated person who manager who he's very good when he speaks to the media in terms of he knows exactly what he's saying. As soon as he compared that team to a Honda Civic, he thought, oh no.
What one person to mention that probably has had a raw deal is John Kennedy.
100%. I mean, I think for what he's given,
you'll have played with him.
I just want to sort of go back to talk about Martin O'Neill not coming in. I think it's very clever as well. The way you speak about Martin O'Neill in terms of being old school, I think there's no doubt about it. That's the way he is.
Yeah.
But that'll never leave the game. The man management and the sort of care you have for players and how you speak to players. The clever bit about it is Sean Maloney is a clever player.
Well, and he's got the experience of being a manager.
Yeah. He's
a few clubs.
He's following him there as well. And honestly, so he's got players with coaches with energy, coaches that know the game tactically. You could see Sean running down and speaking to him and speaking to the players. So there's a tactical side there. You've got the man management. So it's a clever move.
So do you think it's not really worked for Sean as a manager at Hibs? And I know he done okay at Wigan. Do you think that is probably more suited? This role will be more suited to him, somebody above him, than him in and around to help him?
Maybe, maybe it is.
From knowing Sean, I actually think he'll want to be a manager again. I think he's been tough jobs. Hibs is a good job, but it's a tough job if you don't go well. Wigan, the state of the club was tough. But I think from talking to him over the years, I think he'll want to be a manager again. You obviously remember he was at Belgium as an assistant as well, so he's got that. So he knows this role at the moment.
Yep.
And I think it's a good role for him at the moment. But
you be a manager, you need to gain a lot of experience. It just doesn't happen for you as well, doesn't it? So he's obviously gaining experience and being at Hibs, being at Wigan, now doing this role. So eventually you'd imagine he'd get back into it. Or he might settle and go, do you know what, this suits me better to work under somebody like Martin O'Neill. I think it's a very clever appointment
I agree.
by the board.
Speaking about managers that seem to be getting the best out of the team, Stephen Robinson, incredible.
Oh,
I was at that semi-final. It was a brilliant game again. And I think his tactics towards a Motherwell team that are expansive, who dominate the ball, who probably want you to press them because they're good enough, got it spot on. Got it spot on, and they looked a threat all the time. But you could just see the clear instructions. You talk about how does a manager get their points across to make them so consistent. I've said for the last few years, St Mirren are arguably the best out of possession team. They're well organised, they know exactly when to press, but they carry a real threat. He's recruitment wise as well.
He's brilliant. I mean, the way they play, they were compared to hammer throwers. I heard them.
Well, that's Sutty that does that. So you need
is that just that seat? Is that just that seat?
You throwing that in there? That's a disgrace for you, man.
Is that what he was talking about?
Aye. So disrespectful.
So disrespectful. We told him that. He said he wouldn't open these curtains to watch them if they were out the back door.
Is that what he said?
Incredible. So disrespectful.
I didn't realise it was him.
Yeah.
So I just need to continue along that vein, right?
Now in, go 2 feet in.
No, I think Steve Robinson's openly said it. Whatever team he's got, he works with that team and gets the best out of them. And the fact they play a bit counter-attacking sometimes is brilliant. But I've seen them in games against Hibs last year dominate in a half, in possession, in positional, standing in good positions and keeping the ball and maintaining attacks. When I saw that, I thought, he's a good manager and they're so organised.
They're not total expansive, so that's maybe where the whole, they don't... But see in the middle of the pitch and that, they move the ball and they manipulate it to get it into good wide areas where their wing backs have caused you problems, and they've got Declan John's delivery is brilliant. It's been fantastic. The game during the week against Hearts, his delivery into the box was such a threat.
Yeah, but I think you speak about recruitment. Like, if that's the way you want to play, you recruit for those players. It's not a case of, there's somebody available, let's go and grab him.
Also lost the best striker last season.
100%. He does it every year. Loses players. And then, I mean, the centre-back as well at left. Taylor. He was brilliant for them last year.
People seem to think that you're either hammer-throwing team that just sit back and defend.
No, nobody. The only person that does is Sutton.
Well, two people, Charlie and Sutton.
Well, no, but I've not said that. Let's retract that right now. No, but I think that's a general consensus in football. Sometimes is like, are you a hammer thrower? Or are you a long ball team, or do you play for the back? There's two options. But actually, can you be organised out of possession like Rangers were at times yesterday? Like teams are in the past, like Celtic in the Champions League when they've been really good. They've been really organised out of possession. Like I think it's a good thing to coach, and I think it's the easiest thing to coach for managers in my experience. Scotland through the years, Steve Clark's very like that. Let's be organised off the ball.
But the thing is as well, and I think he spoke about it after the game, it takes the players, I mean, you can be a good coach, but it takes the players buying into it. You know, the intelligence from the players to actually accept, right, okay, this is what we want to do. We need to be compact, but then we can hit them the counter-attack. We're going to, if you do get set plays, you're going to put it in the box, then we're going to go and attack it with real aggression, get our head on it. So I think that there's a lot I like about the St Mirren team. Can they get a result against Celtic?
Them as a club is brilliant.
Incredible.
And one thing I was going to say there is, what else can he do other than win a cup? He's took St Mirren to Europe.
Top 6, 3 years in a row.
Only team 3 years in a row, top 6 out with the Old Firm.
And you can carry a. I think you can carry a bigger.
Stevie Robson's age.
No, I think he's got a lot of like, and he gets a hard time.
I agree. I agree. Well, we know who gives him a hard time.
He's a harbour thrower.
But if I was as our friend refers to him as the little angry man, if I was him, I'd become out all swinging, guns blazing, ready for the big man.
Sutton, has there been a wee
Sutton said if his team was playing out the back door, he would not open the blinds to watch them, the curtains to watch them.
Disgraceful. Not nice.
Yeah. No, it's poor. Can they cause an upset? Or how do they cause an upset?
I think it'll be hard. The way they cause an upset is having the front two need to be on it in the final, because I've watched them recently against Hearts and Motherwell, and their two strikers, Mandron especially, causes havoc. Really good link up, really good bringing it in. Their pace in the spaces that are left by Celtic, well, that's going to be a key area. But Celtic, depending on what's happened, if the new managers come in, or if it's still Martin O'Neill, they've turned the corner a bit. It'll be a hard ask for them.
It will be interesting because they do play in the counter-attack, don't they, St Mirren? You'd imagine against Celtic they're going to sit in like a 5-4-1 or 5-3-2 and just sort of hitting them in the break. And the quicker you speed the play up, so like yesterday when Celtic putting more balls in the box and causing more problems to Rangers, the more counter-attacks you'll probably have against you. Counter-attack opportunities, because you're taking more risk, you're risking the ball more often. So then that kind of feeds into St Mirren having more breaks away, and it's how Celtic probably lock them in and deal with that, which will be the big part. I think the longer the final goes 0-0, if it's still Martin O'Neill there, we're assuming, and the play's still the same, the longer it goes 0-0, the more St Mirren will kind of believe they can get something at it.
You mentioned that, Martin O'Neill, if he's still there. If it's not, who would you like to see?
I would go all out and get Jurgen Klopp in the door.
Oh my days.
Oh, Jesus. Are you playing Football Manager here, man?
Why can't we go? Why?
You can't say that with a straight face.
Why not? £7 million a year, give him it. Jurgen Klopp in the door. Why you keep looking at your watch?
It's 11:15. 11:15.
That's madness.
That's a madness shout.
Did you kick on after the final, the semi-final last night, or are you up early this morning?
What's your argument again? I know it's unrealistic. Well, I just think
that's why.
I know it's unrealistic, but could Dermot Desmond go, do you know what? We're going to bounce back after Rodgers here, and we're going to go.
Right, but if you're Jurgen Klopp, are you thinking I'm going to go to Celtic when I could go to elite top 5 in the world?
Charles, on
Celtic,
that, Charles,
no many bigger European teams
on
than Celtic.
That,
I mean, if it was Rangers, it'd be a different story. You wouldn't go anywhere near that.
Charles, on that, let's move on. Would he make a Hearts start to the season? I mean, that is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Who would you take Celtic? Who would you think?
I think it's a hard appointment. I think even
you're raging because you don't want it to be Klopp. You're trying to shoot that down in case it gathers any pace, and Klopp goes, oh, I thought you fancy that.
He's raging. I'm watching the warm-up.
He's raging about that.
Definitely not.
Trying to move on to Hearts now. What about Klopp?
I think it's a hard appointment. It's difficult to get.
Well, there was a question not that long ago, wasn't there?
Kieran McInnes one that came up.
There was a question. Who would I like to take control of? I could do it.
Boyd, imagine Boyd in charge of him.
I could do it.
Custom-made tracky on.
Somebody mentioned Dale McInnes.
No chance.
And why not?
I can't see it.
No chance for me either.
I can't see it. But just in general, there's not a natural.
Oh, listen, I mean, I think when you go back, the Kieran McKenna one's an interesting one. Listen, he's a lot of money at Ipswich. When you look at the jobs he decided to knock back, and the Ipswich owner's a wealthy man, so it's not as if that's a foregone conclusion. Bellamy, I think he's another one.
I would say that's the one that made me go,
Robbie
that's
Keane.
Interesting.
I'd love to see Bellamy.
Yeah,
I think what he's shown from being a young coach and no really knowing where it, to then working with Vincent Kompany, to then taking in the Wales national, he's been excellent.
So what you want Jurgen Klopp to come inside? Well, Craig Bell to come inside alongside.
I would love Klopp to come, but might be unrealistic. I don't know.
Might be.
I don't know.
Might be.
I don't know. Well, it probably is.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But
let's go on to Hearts.
Hearts. What start they've had?
Brilliant. I think the signings, Kirizides, Braga, Shankland are the best front three in the league as a group. Best front three in the league. And now you've got Kabore coming on and bagging a double. What I would say is the game on Saturday was one of I've said before, the big thing for Hearts is going to be at each wee stage, are you going to have it? When they're playing on a Sunday and the team on the Saturdays went ahead, that type of thing, I think after dropping points at St Mirren midweek, this game becomes a challenge, right, can we? And they've rose to the challenge very comfortably.
Dropping points, or do you look at that? Because I know we've all been the situation where there's grounds that you look and say, weren't
it's
best.
A good result.
We weren't at best, but we managed to nick a point. Could Hearts look back at that point?
Definitely.
And Paisley and say
won once in 8 years at St Mirren.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely it's that, but when you're part of a title race, it's points dropped, it's points gained, and that's where that was a challenge. Can they bounce back? And they did comfortably. With changes in the team.
I question the character, like you spoke about there, of people on in the football department that have won any leagues or anything.
But does that example during the week not?
That's exactly what I'm going to say. But that's the first time I went. They've shown character there. The potentially 3-1 down with a disallowed goal.
You've had a few ding dongs, a few of the Hearts fans.
I've had a few ding dongs with the Hearts fans, and I need to get my point across here.
The Celtic result itself is a big,
brilliant. Listen,
jump.
I've wrote Hearts off.
Was it the red wine or the beer that night? What one was it?
It was a couple of red wine, but I'll stick to I wasn't too much, but I'm going to go back on my statement. I'm going to stay strong on it. I don't think Hearts, there's nothing in my lifetime that's shown me a team outside Celtic and Rangers can mount a serious challenge.
But
Hearts
what you've not seen in your lifetime is the Jamestown analytics.
Yep. And I've never seen probably both Celtic and Rangers kind of been as awkward as a state as this. So, granted all that, but I just don't think Hearts, throughout the course of the season, can maintain what they're maintaining. Can maintain results like they have. That's been 11 league games.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think they'll. I mean, when I look at the team from the midweek game at St Mirren to Dundee, I think it's Dale McInnes is a masterstroke in terms of whether he's rested players, whether he's dropped players, whether he's keeping players on his toes.
That then becomes the question: can the players come in, replicate what Braga's done, what Halkett's done? Yeah. But they come in and they play well.
I think you've got to look at it and say that if you're part of a squad and you want to be part, and you can see something building. Exactly. You know, everybody's buzzing. Everybody's. You'd imagine they'll be strolling into training, chest out. I want to show the manager that I'm good enough to play. Yep. When you're given that opportunity, because the team's been doing so well, that might be the only opportunity you get for the next 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it may be. So you have to take it. And that's where, I mean, like Kabore, Schweinsteiger. Yeah, he came in at the weekend as well. Who was the other one? There was somebody else come in.
Spittle come in.
So Steinbinder, whatever it is. We'll get there eventually. So they've come in and they need to show that they're good enough to be there, because there'll be changes. There'll be changes at Hearts in January again. And if you're some of the players that are out the starting 11, and maybe just in the squad, you might be getting moved on to bring better quality in.
My question marks were over Millen playing right wing. I don't think he offered a lot.
No, but he didn't. But in the games that he played there, Hearts played well. Rangers was the first game. He plays right mid at Ibrox. Team played brilliantly. So he had. I'd agree with you against St Mirren.
Yeah.
As the game goes on, you're not getting much attacking threat from Millen and McAtee. But then Dell changed it.
Yeah.
He plays in left back and then brings Spittle in.
And then Millen went to left back at the weekend, didn't he? Yeah. What about, where would you look at Hearts and say, I mean, you've said the front three's as good as anything in the league, right? Where would you look and say the need to strengthen? The right back area for me, I don't think. Yeah, McAtee's done really well, but he's not an out-and-out right back.
Yeah, the right back's an area that you could get somebody else, I think. But also they've got the Brazilian Aasgaard, or whatever his name is. He's obviously just got an arm injury, but they've signed him for £2 million.
Yeah.
So there's no obvious areas that you need to go, they're really weak.
Yeah.
It's just about constantly building and raising the level for me.
Yeah.
Has your mind's changed though? from weeks ago, you saying, no chance. But wait, what is realistic then for Hearts this season?
Win the league.
Realistic for you?
No, it's unrealistic for me.
So what is realistic second?
Second, but I still think they'll be third. But I think they can push for second. I think unrealistic to win the league. Don't get me wrong. The longer it goes, the more nervous I'm coming, but I'm having to double down with my for what I've said, right? The big thing during the week was how they come back against St Mirren. Respect. Then the changes they made with the squad depth. I didn't realise how good their squad depth was, and the way Dale made the changes deserves a lot of credit for that. I question the right side for Hearts, like you say, Boydie, the right back, decent enough, but quality going forward. And then when Millen was playing there, I just think that right side is, when a team's sitting against you, when eventually Hearts become the favourites in most games, they go into teams like St Mirren's, the Commanders will go, okay, well, can you break us down like they do to Celtic and Rangers? And then you're going, right, have you got the quality there?
See,
you've got Devlin, you've got Beningame, who are very effective at what they do, but they are off the ball midfielders. They like to run about and get in people's faces. Attacking threat, they don't really offer anything.
Slightly disagree with
I
that.
think a lot of people. I think a lot of people will listen to what you're saying there and take it because of that's what we see against Rangers and Celtic. But I think it would actually suit Hearts better if teams actually sat off them, because Derek McInnes ain't shy and just put the ball in the box. He'll put the ball in there. They'll pick up second balls. They've shown. I mean, Halkett's got what, 3-4 goals. Finley's got 3 or 4. Yeah, so I mean, if they'll put balls in the box, they'll ask you to defend. So I think if teams have to sit off them and just say, right, come and attack us, it doesn't really bother them for me. And I think they're in a right good chance. I really do, because of how bad Rangers and Celtic have been. You know, I mean, you look at Rangers start the season, it's been terrible. Celtic have been a little bit better, but I mean, it's not been anywhere near the standards of what Celtic have set over the years. But you just look at Hearts and you start to you look at Tynecastle, the away fans are travelling forth, and I know
they've got the best song in the league.
But
Claudio Braga, it's a belter, by the way.
Sing it then.
I don't know the words, but it's a belter.
He's a good
it's over 6 million views or something.
How good's he?
Over 6 million views.
Right,
would it be a bigger shock? Well. Would it be a bigger shock Hearts winning the league than what it was when Leicester won the league?
No.
Oh.
It's an unbelievable shock, but it's not as big, for the reason being that you arguably got a 46 teams all competing for it.
Yeah.
In
Scotland, you normally just have the 2. That's where I'm sitting with it. But it's an unbelievable.
Definitely up there for me.
Aye.
Because, as I say, in my lifetime, I've never witnessed anything even close.
Where were you sitting that question?
I just think when Rangers Celtic, as you say, the two of them haven't started the season well, but if Hearts have to, I mean, Celtic will get better, so will Rangers, but I don't think it'll be anywhere near to the level of what we would expect. But if Hearts have to...
No, is it bigger than Leicester?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For Hearts, if Hearts have to go and do it this year and win the league, I think it would be.
Bigger than Leicester?
I think it would be, yeah.
Wow.
Because I look at England as well, and I mean, Tottenham were the ones that ran Leicester close that year. I know Arsenal ended up finishing third. Arsenal ended up finishing second, I think it was, and Tottenham finished third. But it was Tottenham were the ones that you felt as if we're going to, the big 4 or 5, like they were way off it. And Leicester, it was just result after result, and it just kept going and going.
Pizza after pizza. Every time they won.
Leicester's was mad, wasn't it? Like they played the same way every game. How many Vardy 1-0s was there?
Yeah.
Hearts are slightly different. They're playing and they'll be favourites going into games and they'll be attacking constantly.
What I will say is, I think this is the very start of Hearts being closer to the old firm every season than they're being closer to the rest.
How much better is that? So much better.
You just want a competitive league where there's more teams can
get Aberdeen up there, get Hibs up there, get teams, and that makes it so much better.
Well, Charlie, I must say, for your debut this year, it's been very good. You might get a call.
It's a diet version of Sutton, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get phoned. It's a Sutton light.
I get phoned at quarter to 9 this morning. It's a disgrace. And I thought, yes, they really want me. Last minute sub, shocking.
Yeah, but you've thrived when we really need to go. We're out of time. And you know what it's like.
Been
usually after about 60 minutes, flags up, the board's up, and I'm off. So we're done. Thank you very much, Charlie, for coming.
Thanks. Appreciate it, lads. It's been a pleasure.
Remember to like and subscribe and never miss an episode of The Warm Up.